Hi, it's Mike Herman. It's Thursday, March 21, and I am so excited. I feel so great today. I wanted to make this short video and tell you that today is the first day of spring. I don't know where you are in the world or in the country or on the planet, but here in sunny Los Angeles, California, it is gorgeous in the mid-70s and sunny and a little breezy. And you know what? Springtime is in the air. I just came from taking my dog for a walk, and after I walked with her, I went out again and went for a run. Don't tell her, she'd be very upset if she knew I went out again without her. But I went for a run, and I felt so great after the run. I felt so alive. I couldn't stop thinking about how much I love springtime. You know, when I was a kid, when I was 13 years old, and living in New York, I went to private school in New Jersey, and that was the year that the cicadas, the 17-year cicadas came out. And I'll never forget that experience in the springtime when there were millions and millions of these locust-like cicada insects everywhere, and they were making this almost deafening cricket sound that was all day and all night, and it was just crazy. You would step on them, you would walk them, they'd fly and bump you in the head and the face. It was very, very interesting. I never saw it again. But it was a signal of springtime, life emerging and changing and evolving. And, you know, I started thinking about it and how much I love springtime and how much I love being around the season of spring, that I put together a list of 10 items, 10 things that really inspire me about springtime, that make me feel alive and wonderful. I wanted to share those with you. So the first thing that I love about springtime, and these are no particular order, just the way I jotted them down today, is that everything looks, everywhere I look, there's light and color. It's like a panoply of light and color and sound everywhere. And it's different than the winter, because in the winter it's cloudy, the sun doesn't shine as brightly, the way the sunlight reflects isn't quite as beautiful. There's more clouds, there's more inclement weather. And in the springtime, when things start to come alive and start to burgeon and spread their wings and spread their life forces, it just feels, you can feel energy and chi and life and movement and momentum in the air and in the springtime itself. And that's probably the first thing, actually, in order of priority for me. That's definitely number one. The next thing that came to mind is that life is moving everywhere. Birds are chirping, geese and ducks are coming north for the summer. Hummingbirds. I have a hummingbird that very routinely nests right in this tree right outside my window and hovers and perches right outside my window all the time. I've blogged about that before. And I mean, squirrels are finding their nuts, and birds and the worms are coming out of the ground, and I don't know what else. Insects are coming back out, and raccoons. I see deer here all the time. I see squirrels. I just love seeing nature blossom and burgeon and be active and alive. Number three is all the senses come alive. Your vision seems to be brighter and more vivid. Your hearing is more alert. You hear things that you don't hear during the winter. You hear twigs snapping or leaves rustling or a bird land on a twig, something that you would hear in the darkness of the winter. I want to exercise. When it comes to springtime, I want to exercise. I want to get out there. I want to be active and running and jumping and playing and climbing and doing and going and being. In the winter, yes, I do exercise all year long, but you know what? In the springtime, when springtime comes, man, there's just something natural in nature, in the biorhythm, the circadian rhythms of my consciousness, of my glands in my brain, that make me want to be outside and active, or doing push-ups or pull-ups or swimming or jumping up and running. It's just something chemical that comes out, and I love that. The sun sets later. Days are longer, nights are shorter, and I love having more sunlight. Not like in Alaska where it's daylight for like 20 hours a day or for 6 months a year. Not like that. But I love having more sunlight and more energy and more time outdoors to get things done. My dog loves to go to the park. And in the springtime, it's like a new experience for her every year. She just seems more alive and more excited to be at the park or go for a walk or go for a run or go for a climb. She just seems to find more new things to sniff and smell and climb and scratch and paw on than she does during the winter. I think any dog lovers can probably concur with that. The season's new. The season is brand new. Whatever nature did last year, whatever mistakes or changes or whatever that Mother Nature did last year, it's all wiped new. It's all clean. It's all a brand new season. Anything can grow. Anything can happen. Anything can be born in springtime. Here's something that I have shared before. When I was 5 years old, I fell from a 12-foot platform and landed on my head on the concrete, and I suffered a traumatic brain injury. I was in a coma. I was blind. I was paralyzed. I was aphasic. I had all kinds of neurological and cognitive setbacks as a result, but I've overcome them, all of them in my life. However, when I was 5 years old, I remember the smell of springtime. Now, that was a very traumatic, challenging time of my life, but you know what? I remember with fondness the smell of springtime when I couldn't see and I couldn't use my left hand, I couldn't use my left arm, and springtime came and we'd go to the park, we'd go down to the stream and float boats down the stream. And I remember every year, all through springtime, that smell. I smell it now, of youth and innocence and challenge. And it's a great smell. If you ever had something like that, I encourage you to take just that one breath, that one inhale, that one revisitation to a great time in your life. Now, the blindness, the paralysis wasn't a great time, but the experience of being young and boyish and ready for the world and able to connect my senses of smell and tactile sensory with springtime will never leave me. We're up to number 9. Maybe it's my imagination, but isn't everybody just a little nicer in springtime? In summertime, it's a little hotter. It's a little more irritating, get a little overwhelmed. In the winter, everybody's cold and clammy and wants to be left alone and wants to get inside. But in the springtime, everybody seems to walk with a little more openness, seems to sit in a chair with a little more openness, seems to stand a little more erect, seems to be filled with a little more joy and inspiration in the springtime. I believe that's true. I certainly believe that's true. And I love that people connect, at least in my perception, my observation, more with each other on more levels and deeper connections in springtime than any other time of the year. And number 10 is with the arrival of spring, with this new day, this new time of year, this new season where anything is possible and anything can grow and anything can happen. Springtime means that summer, which is my next favorite time of the year, is just around the corner. So I hope those 10 things that inspire me, that bring me excitement about this first day of spring, March 21, 2013, this first day of spring, this first day of renewal and possibility and excitement meant something to you. I hope you have a great day. Have a great springtime. Have a great summer. Have a great year.